What if heaven and hell are not so much afterlife places, but rather mental states that we choose to be in? Hello everyone, my name is Doris Victoria. Welcome to your today's video on your personal empowerment channel. I am your soul empowerment and conscious millionaire coach, and it's a pleasure to connect with you today, as always. And as I promised in the beginning, we're going to dive deep today into the myth of heaven and hell, because oftentimes heaven and hell are being depicted as afterlife places that we go to. You know, if you're a bad girl or a bad boy, you're going to hell. If you're a good boy or a good girl, you're going to heaven. Well, it's not so much like that. And I'm going to share my personal experience as much as, you know, a lot of really juicy details. And I want to start with this beautiful story that really opened my mind when I heard it first. And it was like 10 years ago or so when I heard it first. It really opened up my mind. And at the same time, I was reading a book. Isn't it interesting how divine synchronicity is working all the time and how we would always attract what we need in that present moment? So couple of years ago, when I started diving into that subject, because I was always a truth seeker or a truth finder, because if you seek the truth, you will find it, because what you seek is seeking you. So truth seekers shall find the truth, because the truth seeks us as well. The truth is like in this beautiful quantic field around us, and it is ready to be coming into our being, to our consciousness, as we are opening ourselves. So as I was opening up, and I was reading this fantastic book a couple of years ago about someone who was talking about their near-death experience, and then I heard this beautiful story. It really made sense to me, and I realized a big thing, that we are more in power, more in charge of our lives than we're being taught, than society or school or, you know, any specific thing that you have learned on this earth in your society will ever teach you. So let me start with this beautiful story. Once upon a time, there was like a U-shaped building, and one end of the building was kind of like for the higher status, for the higher class people, which is also a very old concept, you know, because the truth is there are no classes. We are all equal as human beings. But in that story, there is the better end of that U-shaped building, and then there is the lower end. And there was a prostitute living at the lower end of this building, and on the higher end, there was a priest living. And since this building was U-shaped, the priest could look into the apartment of the prostitute every morning, every day, whenever he was there, whenever the lights were turned on or the windows were open or the curtains were not pulled, and the prostitute could always see the priest. So in the morning, when the priest got up and he saw the prostitute getting dressed for her day, he was full of hatred. He was judging her for this dirty kind of work that she was doing, and how can someone be so far away from God? And you know, he was in this place of very harsh judgment towards her. Well, every morning when the prostitute got up, she was full of admiration for the priest when she saw him getting dressed, you know, in his robe, in his black robe with his white, and she was full of admiration. She was always like, wow, such a wonderful man. I so admire what he's doing. And one day, maybe one day, but thank you for doing that beautiful work that you do. So she was full of admiration and love and gratitude for this man that kept judging her so harshly. So their lives went on. Nothing changed. She still kept admiring him. And the priest still kept judging her every morning, every day. When he saw her, he was judging her for being such a dirty woman and doing such dirty work and so on. Well, one day they died, and she went to heaven and the priest went to hell. And so the priest started to make noise. He started to, hey, God, something's gotta give. I was my whole life in service for you. My whole life I dedicated to raise people with consciousness and with believing in you. And you're punishing me by being in hell? And then he heard a voice. And the voice said, you, my son, have already been in hell during your entire life because you were full of hatred, full of judgment. You created your own mental hell by choosing this low vibration of judging others, judging this beautiful woman who is a child of mine as well. Wherever she was already full of love, she was full of gratefulness, full of admiration. She created her heaven, her mental heaven, while she was alive. And the priest went into a deep meditation, so to speak, and his soul started thinking and integrating this wisdom. So what I learned from that story is that heaven and hell are mental states that we choose to be in. And I would like to extend this here because the priest was full of judgment. Where is judgment coming from? Judgment, frustration, anger, any kind of lower vibrational frequency, which is important for us to feel when we're feeling it, traversing it, because emotions is energy in motion. So we are allowed to feel the vibrational scale, but we are always invited to come back to that inner peace, that inner joy, that inner gratefulness, that love. Because as soul beings, we already are love. We are not those judgmental beings that our parents raised us to be, maybe. If you had parents like me that were kind of role modeling, that you were judging everything and everyone, and you're always putting things into categories like good and bad. Well, it doesn't necessarily resonate or align with the truth of our soul, because our soul, you can see it as this beautiful light. It is eternal peace. It is this high vibrational frequency. This is why we call the soul often the higher self. But it is a very high frequency. So when we choose to be in this high frequency, after traversing, momentarily feeling those feelings of anger, but then coming back to that peace and that joy and unity consciousness is also part of our soul. There is no separation. There is no division in our soul. These are all, terrestrial. These are all human man concepts that were taught to us and that some of us started to believe in. I never have. I always kind of felt that we were a big family, even though I come from a very judgmental family. So when we choose, so this is what I meant before, if you choose hell for you, if you choose the mental place of hell, you choose to remain in fear. This is what I meant when I said I would like to extend it, because judgment is a lower vibration that is coming of fear. There's only two main vibrations. There is love and there's fear. Everything that is peace, laughter, expansion, happiness, gratefulness, everything that is above this 500 level, high vibrational emotions, are coming from fear, from love, whereas all lower vibrational frequencies like frustration, anger, powerlessness, rage, jealousy, all these are coming out of fear. Fear is the origin. Fear is the root of all evil. The root of all evil here on earth is fear. So when you are judgmental, it means that you are in fear. Maybe fear that you're not good enough. This is why you have to judge. Judging gives the ego a better feeling. It makes you stand higher than you might feel inside when you judge something or someone. But the truth is, your higher self never judges. Your higher self is always this beautiful, peaceful, vibrating being that knows that we are all a big family. And when you choose to think these thoughts, you will immediately feel an alignment in your body. You will immediately feel better when you feel feelings of peace, of gratefulness, of kindness, of love for someone or something. When you feel judgment, you won't have this good feeling inside of you. I mean, when I still judge myself, I still, capture myself judging something or someone that I see doing something that I consider as being bad, but then immediately get myself and I'm like, wait, is this love or fear? Okay, and then maybe I do my yoga breath, this kind of like where you take 3 breaths in, 3 breaths out, and then 3 breaths in, and every time you hold your breath, you're actually starting to punch. This is bringing you out from your soul, out from your head into your heart. And the soul resides in our hearts. In fact, the soul resides in all our cells, in our DNA. But the heart is often associated with the soul because the heart is our primary brain. It's not the head, it's not the intellect, it's the emotional intelligence, the emotional kind of like, because the emotions are always our guidance system. So emotions are always kind of bringing us back either into our soul, or if you don't listen, we will stay in judgment because we are so used to feeling bad. As I said before, when you judge or when you feel powerless or when you feel sad or angry, you do not feel good. Why? Because you're feeling very, very far away from your natural being that is your soul. It is love, it is peace, it's joy, it's unity consciousness. So as we are traversing those feelings, transmuting those feelings, allowing us to feel them, and any kind of feeling that you have felt, let's say 1 or 2 minutes, it doesn't even have to take long, 1 or 2 minutes, and then you can get yourself out of it and get yourself back into peace. So back to heaven and hell. Can you see now how heaven and hell are not afterlife places? The truth is that every soul, whether it's priest or prostitute, is going back into the light. But I love that story because in a way it is showing what we are already living during this incarnation and how much free will we have, how much choice we have to choose our thoughts. And by choosing our thoughts, we are creating mental states and hence emotional states because our mind affects our emotion. Every thought is vibration. So if you have unkind thoughts, you will be in a lower vibration. Whereas if you have kind thoughts, because kindness is aligned with what your soul is, you will have a good feeling inside of you. So your feelings are always guiding you towards the truth. And the truth is, when you feel one with everyone, when you can be empathetic, helpful, mindful, kind to others, this is when you will feel good. Try it. Whereas when you judge others, you will feel very estranged. I mean, I can feel it now. For me, it's so clear because I'm very connected to my feelings, my emotional guidance system. So if you find yourself judging someone or something today, take a breath and then think again. Think again. Do you know any of their struggles? Do you know what's going on in their mind? And then just choose to come back to love. I'm going to make some shorts about this as well, but there's something that I want to leave you with in today's video, and that is a lesson that I have learned many years ago. Whenever you see something, what is helping us to bring us out of judgment and into love again? Prayer. Even though you're not religious, I'm not religious at all. I'm very spiritual. Religion never resonated with me because as long as there are limitations and rules, I know that they're not from God, they're from human beings. So anyway, the point is, I want to leave you with this beautiful lesson that I have learned to get you out of judgment and into a higher vibrational state of oneness, of unity, consciousness again. Whenever you see something or someone that is doing something that you do not approve of, that you think is bad, catch yourself, watch yourself, realize you were judging this being, and then start praying for the opposite. So when I, for example, see gardeners crippling trees in the middle of summer, where the tree already grew his crown, his leaves, his branches in order to protect the trunk from the burning sun in summer. And then I see those young guys with their cigarettes, not connected to their bodies at all, crippling those trees all the way down to the trunk. So the tree has no more protection. This is something that is still hurting me. Every time I see it now, I'm turning my thoughts around and I'm like, thank you. Thank you that this beautiful soul is finding oneness now with the tree. He is finding the beauty, the magnificence in himself so that he can see the beauty, the magnificence, and the perfection, not only in himself, but in all creation around him, including trees, flowers, plants, bushes. So I'm always praying for the opposite. When I see something that I don't approve of, that I judge, I pray for the opposite. And immediately, because I'm not praying like a beggar, I'm praying like a receiver. Thank you that this is already so. It immediately brings me back into love. So I hope this is helping you. Mwah! Please leave me a comment underneath this video. Let me know what you have troubles with, what you are still judging. And then let me know how you can turn it around. What can you pray for that is the opposite of what you are judging? Let us support each other here in the chat. Let us grow this community of soul-empowered people, soul-conscious people. And with this, my dear ones, I'm sending you all my love. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'm looking forward to connect with you again very soon. Bye for now.